And paid for by Right Path Real Estate does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station. It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Welcome to the show.
Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Mike's on.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. After a long weekend, live on the air, AM 1110, Business Radio, KTEK. My name is Tom Perry. I'm the host of the Right Path Real Estate Radio Show. I'm not joined by anyone else in the studio. Mr. Daniel G., my brother from another mother, will be in studio tomorrow live celebrating his wife's 40th birthday. For those of y'all that have been following on Facebook, that are friends of his on Facebook, if you'd like to friend me on Facebook, I've got a couple of spots left. Like me on Tom Perry, or if I hit my 5,000 number, I think I'm at like 4997. I think I have 3 more spots left. Hey, good morning, Mr. DG. Yeah, you're joining us live from, hope you're enjoying the place. I certainly had a nice New Year's there, and I think you're enjoying it. The food is amazing. It's one of those all-inclusive places. It's a resort, but I think they've got it's 17, 19, 20, 21, 22 restaurants, something like that, and all of them are amazing. So it's all the food and beverage that you can drink. Unlimited alcohol, unless you want wine. They actually charge you wine by the glass or the bottle, but other than that, it's fine. So I want to talk a little bit about a correction from last week, and I appreciate listeners that point out things that I'm incorrect on, because I talk about a lot of different things and not always accurate, and it's a pretty common mistake. But Memorial Day versus Veterans Day. So Memorial Day is obviously meant to honor the men and women that we've lost in the service of our country to all the different wars and things like that. Veterans Day is to honor those that are currently serving or have served. But it seems like there's kind of a little bit of an overlap, which is understandable. It's hard to think about those that have given up their life, which is the ultimate sacrifice, for this great country that we live in, this land of opportunity, and without thinking of the people that have served that didn't give up their life. Let's face it. Anyone that's willing to, it's a volunteer army now. The days of the draft are gone. So anyone that has served in the military in the last, probably 25, 30, I'd have to go back historically and look. Probably have to Google that. I use an adult phone, not a kid phone. I don't use one of those. What's that fruit? The Apple phone. I don't use one of those. So I'd have to Google it. Some of y'all could Siri it, but just find out when the draft ended. But ever since then, it's been strictly a volunteer army. So everyone that volunteers knows that they have the potential of making the sacrifice. And I just, throughout the weekend, I celebrated it down in Galveston with my daughter and some really good friends that we shared a beach house this past weekend. And they've got a 2.5-year-old daughter, and my 14-year-old daughter we all had a great time at the beach, and just sharing and relaxing and just really appreciating the opportunity that we have to live in this country. To it's over and over, the conversation that kept coming up is just. Sometimes people, we really focus on what's happened in our past. In fact, we started talking about the difference between the habits and mindsets of successful people versus unsuccessful people. And we all know what the potential of every single person in our country is. It's amazing to me that everyone has an amazing potential. And we've talked about on this show recently about there is a momentum success cycle that once momentum starts, it either continues to spiral up or it continues to spiral down. And the momentum cycle always starts with potential. And when we argue how much potential does a person have, how much potential does an acorn for an oak tree have, and how big does a oak tree ever grow? And the answer is it grows as big as it can. And we all have the potential to create and build an amazing life in America, thanks in part to the men and women that have served and have sacrificed to help create the history of this great country. Is our country perfect? No, it's certainly not. In fact, the more I'm reading books, you look at systems that are in place in our society today, like our financial system, the 401k system, it's leaving people woefully unprepared as they're approaching retirement years. When I look at our healthcare system, and we look at that it's really not a wellness industry, it's really a sickness industry. I'm reading a book right now called How Not to Die, and it really talks about what a poor job healthcare professionals are doing in terms of teaching people the right way to eat and what's good for our health and what's bad for our health, and the drug companies and what an influence they have, because when there's billions of dollars of profits on the line on an annual basis, the kind of research they do versus what good flaxseed or beets have in our American diet, but how many people will eat flaxseed or eat beets in order to be healthy. And our healthcare professionals don't even tell us that those things make us healthy. So when we see that, hey, we have a broken financial system, and the whole setup of the 401ks, it's not designed to make us wealthy, it's designed to make the financial planner people wealthy. And then our healthcare system, it's not designed to cure the root cause of hypertension or high cholesterol, those kind of things, but it's meant to treat the symptoms, which keeps us in that cycle of going to doctors so that we can get our blood measured so that we can keep our prescription going. But we're really managing the symptoms, not treating the cause. Or then when we even look at our educational system and what it teaches us how to be employees, doesn't teach us how to be entrepreneurs or to think outside the box or to be real problem solvers. Or it doesn't teach us about banking or insurance, whether it's health insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance, automobile, and any of those kind of things. It's like there's so many facets of life. It doesn't teach us about valuing time over money. Or valuing money as time. That people say time is money, and no, it's really not. Time is time, and money is money. And what you discover is the more successful people get, the busier they are, and the more they're willing to hire other people to do things that are not really worth their time, and how people that are not as financially successful or financially valuable in the marketplace. And when I say successful, I don't mean, in God's eyes, we're all created equal, but in the marketplace, we're obviously not. And one of the things that's interesting to me is how there's people that are born in America that have all the potential. They come from great families. They come from families with resources, and yet they end up on drugs, or they end up in a cycle of life that's constantly spiraling downward. And yet there's people that come to America. I mean, I know of a story of an investor that came over from Vietnam on a boat without his parents when he was like 12 or 13 years old, and was willing to do whatever it takes to make it here in America. And today he's a successful real estate investor. And we see people that are fighting to come. I mean, they're walking. So many Americans can't walk around the block because we're so obese. And yet people are walking from countries like Honduras. And if you've ever looked at, how many miles that is to come to this amazing land of opportunity that we have. And again, I don't want to make it political or anything like that, but I've discovered that there's some habits that successful people have that unsuccessful people don't. It's as simple as answering your telephone. I find that when I talk to real estate investors, and we don't do this too much, we don't really work a pre-foreclosure list like some people do in terms of, trustee sales or people that have a mortgage that, because every 21 days that list is, you're basically like an Etch-a-Sketch, you're shaking it up and your list goes away. But I find that when people are struggling through hard times, when they're going through an unsuccessful phase in life, then a lot of people start hiding. They quit answering their phone. They don't respond to text. They don't, and that's their coping mechanism. And yet I find that when I call a successful person, 99% of the time they answer their phone. They answer it quickly and often. If they don't, then they return messages quickly. So it's just, throughout life, I've noticed that there's differences between what the habits of successful people versus the habits of unsuccessful people. I know people that they get frustrated when they're working. Other investors that they'll work
2 minutes.
They work the pre-foreclosure marketplace because they think that they're really out there helping folks. They go and knock on doors. They know that the people are home, and yet the people don't answer the door. And so I know I've only got 2 minutes left, and I'm kind of merging a couple different talks. My theme for today is Memorial Day versus Veterans Day. I want to make sure that we honor all those people that have served or even sacrifice, giving the ultimate sacrifice of their life. And then I also want to talk throughout the morning about the mindsets and habits of successful people versus unsuccessful. And then I want to even talk about a story from last week, and it will show me not necessarily in my best light, but I'm willing to be transparent and let you know that I'm not perfect. I'm out there willing to try, and I'm willing to fail, fall flat on my face. One of the things that I've discovered between successful people and unsuccessful people is unsuccessful people really fear failure. They oftentimes want to become an expert in something before they ever even get started. I find that successful people discover very early on that it takes action, massive action, going in a direction towards success in order to become an expert. And we'll talk more and more throughout the morning about the momentum cycle, how it really starts with a potential, and then that leads to massive action, and action leads to results, and results lead to belief and certainty. And that's a spiral that either continues to go up or it continues to go down. And so I want to say good morning, Joel. Good morning, Ginger. Good morning, Jay. Thanks for joining us this morning, and hello to all you people on Instagram and Facebook. So thanks so much. The music says I'm out of time. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the morning. Good morning, Slow Cool. Good morning, Ivy Partners.
Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking meeting.
Very few
lots
people
of fun, lots of great real estate talk.
In a
we'll see you there.
Way without a few failures before their success.
Time is money in a real estate deal.
I've seen a few people that have
if your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quote binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you. Call Houston's leading real estate risk management experts, Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas, 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mic's on.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Kind of interesting. Watching the Facebook feed, and Andy's hopping on. You know, when you hire tens at what they do, they can adjust on the fly and take good care of us. I don't know what he's making adjustments on, but keep on doing it. You do what you do. So we come live to you on terrestrial radio, AM 1110. I know many of you listen on the way into work. Some of y'all are going to work, or you're driving around looking at properties, things like that. We're on from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Yesterday was a best of show, so thanks for joining us back live. And if we're doing a best of show, you can only catch us on terrestrial radio on Business Radio 1110 KTEK. But when we're live on the radio, we're also live streaming on social media. We're on Right Path Real Estate on Facebook, and the same thing on Instagram, Periscope, Twitch. I don't have to admit I don't know what all of those things are, because I'm just that guy that I don't keep up with all the social medias. There's only so many hours in a day, and I'm glad I have people that are really great at doing those things. So I want to talk a little bit about a deal that I'm working on actively. So I have a property in Pasadena. Not going to give details because we're still working the deal, things like that. But imagine this. Here's what happened. So Grandma and Grandpa have a house, and Grandpa writes a will. And essentially the will says, yes, I have 4 kids, and if something happens to me and I predecease my spouse, then my spouse gets everything. And I set up my granddaughter as the executor of my estate to handle all my affairs. In fact, she's the independent executrix of the estate. Now, it also references in the will, it says that my wife is also filling out a will, but mine is not to supersede hers, and hers is not to supersede mine. And this grandpa actually has 4 kids. Apparently, I believe it's 3 daughters and a son. In fact, I know that that's the case. Now, the son lives in a facility that is a permanent residence of this facility. There's a guardian that oversees their affairs. And none of the 3 siblings, there's 2 of the siblings, the 2 of the daughters that get along pretty well. The son doesn't really speak to any of the other, children. And then there's a 3rd sister, doesn't really get along with the other 2 sisters. So a lot of family dynamics there. Now, I'm going to take a break from that story and just let you know that one of the things that I discover, successful people versus unsuccessful people, in terms of mindsets and habits, this is something that my mom and we talk about quite a bit. I'm not saying that my mom's not unsuccessful, but it's something that we all, even myself, I have to focus on. Am I looking back at things that have happened in my rearview mirror, or am I looking forward at things that are coming at me at the windshield? Can you imagine if a car was designed exactly opposite of what it is that the way a car is designed? Imagine that the rear view mirror was as big as the windshield, and the windshield was as big as the rear view mirror. The windshield is the size that it is because you're supposed to give 90% of your attention on what's in front of you. Now, we've all been driving on the freeway or other places, people that never, ever check their mirrors. And if you remember when you were taking driver's education, hopefully all of you did, but sometimes we forget. Again, I'll get on my soapbox. Remember, the left lane is for passing only, yet people camp out in the left lane, and they drive there as if they've put a stake, like, this is my land that I own. I'm going to stay in the left-hand lane. But that's aside. But we're going through life, and we should be focusing on where we're going, not where we've been. Now, we need to every now and then just kind of glance back to respect where we've been, to remember. But when we focus on all of our hurts and pains from the past, it's very difficult to have a mindset of success going forward. So, transition back to the story. There's a lot of hurt and pain in this family. There's a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of mistrust. There's a lot of things that have happened. There's a lot of woundedness in this family. So, Grandpa passes away. He predeceases Grandma. Granddaughter, apparently at the time, is living in the house. I just heard part of the story. Apparently, Grandpa was about to leave Grandma. I don't know if any of that's true or anything like that. Was going to move them out of the country, was going to abandon Grandma, all that kind of stuff. It's the reason why part of the family says. Now, one side says that's true, other side says it's not true. I really don't know, and in fact, in terms of going forward and helping the family, none of that really matters. That's all in the past. So, grandpa passes away, grandma inherits the house. Granddaughter's living in the house, apparently taking care of grandma. Some people say taking advantage of. Some people say taking care of. Again, that's in the past. I don't know which it is. Then grandma passes away, and apparently there's no will. So all of grandpa's wishes meant to bypass the 4 kids in terms of inheriting his assets because the grandma didn't have a will or else, and it's the same difference. Whether you have a will or you don't, if you wait 4 years and don't probate the will, it's as if it didn't. Now, are there workarounds? Yes, if there was a will and you've gone past 4 years, but I'm not going to give a legal lesson in this situation. What I'm simply going to explain is just know that grandma's passed more than 4 years ago, and the granddaughter, who the grandfather had intended to inherit the property and is living in the property, when grandma passes away, because she doesn't have a will and she had inherited from her grandfather's wishes no longer apply. And grandma didn't express her wishes, so absent a will that expresses her wishes, it immediately goes to the children. So now, none of the 4 children really understood that or knew it or were aware of it. I don't really know the situation and all of that goes on. But what I do know is that now the granddaughter's living in the property and was offensive, apparently, to the other children. The children, when I say children, these are women that are in their late 50s to late 60s, in that time frame, men and women that are in that age. So when I say children, I don't want you to picture young people. These are grown adults who have children of their own, in most cases. And then this is where the family dynamics start getting in. So we reach out to this family because we recognize there's a deceased person in title and there's also tax issues. And nobody can really get along. So we contract with 2 of the siblings that have inherited the property. They want to sell the property. And really the granddaughter that's living there, she has the right to nothing. She doesn't inherit the property. She's been living there rent-free. She should be able to move on. However, she occupies the property, so short of evicting the person, and some of the siblings don't want to do that, I decide that, hey, I'm going to work out an arrangement to be able to get her to want to choose to move. It's that whole carrot and a stick. You can use a stick. Sometimes you can use a carrot. Other times I find that a carrot works better than a stick in many situations. Sometimes I'm willing to use a stick. It's not ever my first choice. It's always my first choice to use a carrot, to say, hey, tell you what, if I help you find a place, if I help you a little bit financially, sometimes that saves me money instead of hiring an attorney, going through the eviction process, fighting appeals, things like that. Ultimately, I've always won. But it takes time, energy, effort, and money in order to win. So in this situation, I offered, hey, I'll pay your deposit. I'll pay first month's rent in order for you to do a friendly eviction. That way you find that there's also situations that, it doesn't always require you to have to use, a stick. And what's happened in the past really is irrelevant to me. I've got this goal to turn, not every asset is an asset always. Sometimes an asset becomes a liability to families because sometimes the county will step in, and if you get behind on your taxes, they sue on that behalf. So we're dealing with, I've got 2 of the 4 people involved, and then I've also got the other 2 daughters say that they want to sign, but then their kids get involved. And I'm going forward with talking with one of the daughters. And in fact, I'm going forward with talking with one of the daughters, and she's saying, hey, I'm trying to talk my mom into doing this. Well, lo and behold, it kind of reaches an impasse where through text messages, that's the only way that this daughter's willing to talk, is she's saying, hey, my mom has decided that she and her sister don't want to sign. Well, truth be told, I've been in this situation before. And what I recognize is due to hurts and pains and people assuming and people being offended and people claiming that other people have committed fraud and all that, which really don't change the facts of the situation. What we're really trying to do is knowing where we are right now, when we look with a fresh set of eyes, taking away the filter of emotion and all those things, can we look with a fresh set of eyes right now and say, what's the best in terms of solving the issue for the family? And what I find is sometimes family members don't have that ability because it's difficult in many situations when emotions involved and all of that. So I actually stopped by, knocked on the door of one of the daughter's houses. We obviously through private investigators and through skip tracers and forensic genealogists, we know where people live. And I just really realized that instead of going, all of us have played that telephone game before. I whisper in your ear, you whisper in somebody else's ear. It goes around. Remember playing that in elementary school? It goes around the circle and it never ends up what was originally said. And when you start getting into, like, if I'm talking to you and I'm talking directly, and then you share that information with other people in the family, things get misconstrued. Things that weren't actually said get said that they were said. I mean, there's all kinds of, because everybody's got their own filter in life. And all I'm really trying to do is help people to move a transaction through the pipeline and get as many people as possible to go through the situation. And so, you get one person that says, oh, this person is, said they definitely don't want to do something. And then you talk to that person and they're like, no. I'll give you an example. The daughter said, my mom said that she definitely doesn't want to sign. And I go and speak to the mom. They say, no, I want to sign. And my sister wants to sign. But my daughter told me not to sign. And in fact, my sister's son told, my sister not to sign. And then we both want to get it done, get it over with, get this out of our life and receive the money, because by all means, the money could certainly help us. And it's interesting when you are an investor and you're trying to solve people's problems. And so I'll talk about the rest of this. I know that I've got 2 minutes, but just to let you know that when you're playing the telephone game, oftentimes you have to go straight to the horse's mouth and hear it for your own ears, because sometimes children think that they're acting in the best interest of their parents, and you really have to wonder, what is their agenda? I mean, is their agenda to deal with the hurt and the pain and all of that situation, or is it is it something else? And we never really know. So anyhow, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. My website is rightpathrealestate.com, rightpathrealestate.com. Since I'm coming up on a break, I want to continue this story in the third segment, and you'll hear a period of time that I was not necessarily at my best, and I'm not defending myself, but I just want people to understand why things happen the way that they do. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817.
Real estate investors, do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark.
Hey, Wayne, that's all right. I'll just keep telling the whole story.
And let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized
we try and help
process.
People out.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done. Train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mic's on.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817 is our call-in number. Again, 713-785-1817. And I'm also live on AM 1110. I also broadcast live on the Book of Faces, so I'm on Facebook and monitoring comments, things like that. And so, and then also on Instagram, and I can't forget about the Instagram folks, so hello to everybody on Instagram. Community Showcase, Jaja, Conky, Texas, Anaconda. Wow, there's what great names. And then also, can't forget about my Periscope and Twitch folks as well. So just to continue this story, so so it's fascinating. So daughter, in a text message going back and forth, daughter finally says, hey, Mom and Aunt say they definitely don't want to sign. So I'm like, well, I'm only hearing this from the daughter. Sometimes daughters have their own agenda. Maybe they're not necessarily telling the truth. I go knock on the door, and Aunt says, no, that's not true. I want to sign. My sister wants to sign, but my daughter told me not to. Sad news is the daughter's mom, and the daughter and the mom just lost the mom's husband about a month ago. Apparently it wasn't a surprise. He'd been sick for some time. I don't want to be insensitive of that situation. Wasn't aware of that when all this was going on. But also recognize, in fact, I was told by another sister that, when her husband passed away, that kind of, she's in a financial strait. She could certainly use the money. And, a lot of people don't recognize the value of houses and the condition they're in. This house needs a brand new roof. It's got mold in one of the rooms because of the leaky roof that's not, the mold's not being treated. It's also creating some flooring damage issues. There's some other, needs some updating. There was some updating done in the past, but it was done poorly. There's tile that needs to be redone. There's all kinds of things. So all fixed up, house is probably worth about $90,000. And y'all probably know when you're running flip numbers that, 10% comes off the top for the selling costs. 10% comes off the top for holding costs. Most people, as investors, we're looking to make about a 10% profit. So on a $93,000 house, that's about $9,300. That's a pretty low profit margin. So you're about, if it's all fixed up, it's 70% minus repairs is what you typically offer. But that's assuming that the title is relatively easy. This is anything but an easy title situation. So when you throw that into the mix as well, and you're talking about having to go back and forth, it's hard. It's one thing to get one person. If there's only one decision maker, getting them to agree to sell the house, that's one thing. When you have two people, getting two people to agree, that not twice as hard, it becomes exponentially harder. Each time you add another voice in the conversation, it becomes exponentially harder and harder and harder. And so really, we only have 4 decision makers, and we found that that's always the limit. But what happens when grown adults, people in their 60s, aren't making decisions for themselves, but they're allowing their children, grown children, to influence, make decisions for them? It's sad to me. My mom is, she'll be... probably won't love me saying this, but I'll go ahead and share it. She won't hate it, but she just turned, 76 this year. Is that right? Born in 43. Yeah, doing the math. 76 this year. I do not make decisions for my 76-year-old mother. She is fully capable of making those decisions. I'm dealing in a situation where there's a 62-year-old woman, 14 years younger, is not comfortable making decisions without her daughter's input. Now, can she make decisions without her daughter's input? Absolutely. So when I speak straight to the mom says, yeah, it's my daughter that told me not to. When I speak to the daughter says, no, it's my mom that doesn't want to. So who should I believe, the daughter or the mom? I'd say it's the mom that I believe. And then we also get into a situation where the sister has a son. And the son decided to call me on Friday after I visited her aunt on Friday, trying to get, again, to the same situation. The son also says that the granddaughter that lives in the house committed fraud. Again, I don't really care. I mean, that's all in the past. That's in the rearview mirror. Saying that, that side of the family, they're a bunch of drug addicts. I don't really care. None of that really matters to me. All that's drama that makes no difference in terms of getting the house sold. All I really care about. And then the son and the daughter are both basically saying that, hey, our parents don't want to deal with this. When I speak to the parents, they say, yeah, we do want to deal with this. So the son and the daughter are saying, leave my parents alone. But the parents are saying, no, we want to do this. Get it off of our plate. We'd rather have, when I work backwards, y'all do the math with me. 70% of $93,000 is $60-something thousand. And then subtract out the property needs, about $20,000 in work, the roof, and some other work as well. There's taxes, there's legal issues that we have to deal with, all the title work that has to be handled. I've made an offer that paying the taxes, each of the siblings are going to walk away with about between $4,000 and $5,000, a fair price. Not a huge amount of money, but it's about 20-something thousand. So 20 to them, about 20 in work, about 10 or 12, I forget exactly what the tax numbers are. It's a fair offer. Nobody's going to get rich. If it goes to the county and gets foreclosed on, it's nothing. And so the parents are savvy enough to say, hey, I'd rather have the $4,000 or $5,000 than nothing. And the kids are like, oh, well, we think that you, Mr. Investor, are in on it with... they're conspiracy theorists. They think that I'm in on it with the granddaughter in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I'm like, no, you look me up. I'm a public figure. I do a radio show. I've bought, fixed, and flipped over 600 houses. I've never met that granddaughter. Well, I heard that they're getting a whole bunch. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to get the deal done. It's like they're not even willing to sit down face to face and discuss their fears, because that's really what this is all about. It has to do with fear. And fear is nothing more than false expectations appearing real. This is where I feel like the son crossed the line. On Friday, I just picked up my daughter. For those of y'all that listen, y'all probably know I went through a divorce last November. And so I value the time with my 14-year-old daughter. And I get her every other weekend. And I haven't had her the last 2 weekends, I've had her the last 2 weekends, the 2 weekends before I didn't. So on Friday, I just picked up my daughter, and I get a phone call. And like successful people, I answer my phone. I never know who it is that's calling. I don't really care. I'm an adult. I can tell people, hey, it's, so this guy starts out, hey, you went and sounded pretty reasonable. And then started, and so when I'm driving down the road and I have my daughter in the car, I always use speakerphone. I don't like to text when I drive. I don't mind talking when I drive. It's not my first choice, but if I am going to talk and drive, I'm always on speakerphone. I'm never going to take people off of speakerphone. I find that on a few occasions when I hold the phone up to my ear and I'm driving, for some reason that distracts me way more than when I'm on speakerphone. When I'm on speakerphone, it's no different to me than just talking to my daughter who's sitting right next to me, and we can carry on a conversation, and I can put dealing with traffic first and foremost. And I find that I have that same relationship with traffic when I'm talking on the phone on speakerphone versus if I hold it up on my ear, and it may just be my own illusion, but that's my experience. So this son crosses the line and starts dropping F-bombs and starts cussing and things like that, and I have to say, hey, look, I've got my 14-year-old daughter in the car. And what I probably should have done is just hung up at that point, because I should have recognized it for what it was. But in the moment, in the heat of the conversation, I got defensive and I got protective. My daughter actually saw a side. In fact, I was a little bit worried about how my daughter would respond in this situation. because I actually pulled over. My daughter wanted to go to Bahama Bucks and get a snow cone, so I pulled over and did that as we were going to drive to Galveston and go join some friends at the beach house. And it's fascinating to watch the interaction and how my daughter was growing up before my very eyes. And she says, you know what? She goes, I hadn't really ever seen you respond because I got out of the car and I gave this guy a piece of my mind, if you know what I mean. And I'm not proud of how I responded. I'm not proud of the things that I said because I went to his level instead of calling him up to my level. And really what it was that protective father in me. And again, I'm not excusing it. I'm saying that what I did was wrong. But I'm also recognizing, because I've processed it a lot over the weekend in terms of why did I respond that way. And what I realized is I wanted to put my arms around my daughter and protect her in that situation. And my daughter saw it for what it was. She said, I really did feel protected when you did that. And she said, I want to say thank you for that. And then this guy continued to text me throughout that day until my daughter said, hey, we went to a Vietnamese, Daniel, if you're still on, you're going to laugh because in this situation, I always confuse Thai food from Vietnamese food. And even right now, I think it's Thai food, whatever pho is. So we went to get some pho at this, one of our favorite places. And my daughter finally, this guy kept texting me and harassing, and I was not responding. Every now and then I would, but then she finally wrote this text message to this gentleman and said, hey, because he's calling me a crook and a liar and all these things. And I love that. I've been in business for a long time in a lot of different industries, and I'm not really worried about this one person's opinion of me because being a public figure the way that I am, and for people that know me, and even for those that don't, you just meet me one time and you realize I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that's a crook. I really have a heart to help other people. I want to make a difference in other people's lives. The reason why I do this Right Path Radio show is not for my own purpose, but it's the fact that I want to call people that are unsuccessful into success. I want to teach the things that make people successful. I want to teach people how to make money in real estate, mainly through buy and hold, but you'll drag me kicking and screaming into teaching you how to flip or how to wholesale, not because I don't want to teach you, but it's because I know that you can make so much more money through buy and hold, through buying a piece of property that you keep for the long term. That's where real wealth and income is generated. Now, this is coming from a guy that has bought, fixed, and flipped or wholesaled over 600 houses in the last 6 years. So do I know how to do that? Yes. I will absolutely teach you how to do that if you want me to. But when I read my daughter's response to this gentleman and how she, in that situation, in fact, I'll see if I can pull this up and read it to you because it's from Friday. And let me see if I can, here. She basically said, hey, this is his daughter, and I understand that you're trying to help your family and protect them. My father's been doing this a long time, and he knows what he's doing. He's not a crook, I assure you. I'm sure you have your own reasons why you contacted him, but I don't get to see him very often, and I would greatly appreciate it if we could just end this conversation now and go our separate ways. I commend you for standing up for your family, but next time go about it a little nicer. And all he responded to that was, you guys have a nice time. And so when I realized that, you know what, that matters. Whether I get this deal or not, time will tell. I know that this one gentleman is trying to convince his mom not to sign, even though that's not what's in his or her best interest. But out of ego and pride and arrogance, that's what he's going to fight to try and do. Or out of hurt or fear or whatever. Honestly, in fact, I just made that statement and realized how wrong it is just coming out of my mouth. So I'm emotionally attached to this situation as well, and if it doesn't happen, no big deal. We close on average a house every 3.5 days. We do 8 to 10 properties a month. It's like making sausage. It's just another link in the sausage. Really what it is that I want to help these two ladies in spite of what it is that the son wants. I want to do it for the greater good of helping these two ladies. So you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've got one more section. You're listening, 713-785-1817. Thanks so much. I'll be right back.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
1 minute.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
Mic's on.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. So just telling a story, real life, about what's going on with one particular family. It's one of many. We do a lot of houses on a monthly basis. But what you see is that oftentimes what gets lost in the whole situation is not the details about the property itself, or how people can convert a relatively illiquid asset. You know, an asset is really relatively liquid. You know, houses can typically be sold in 30, 60, 90 days when it's owned by 1 or 2 people. When it starts getting split, what we call a fractured title. The worst I've seen, you know, I've got a particular property right now that on one side of the family, again, you know, mother and dad were married. Mom had kids from a previous marriage. I think she had 3 kids. Dad didn't have any kids. And so what happens is when mom passed away, her 3 kids inherited. When dad passed away, he had 7 brothers and sisters. And all of those have passed away, or almost all of those. And now in each of those situations, each kid has now, it gets more and more and more and more fractured the further down you go. And so you start getting people that have 1/21st of a piece of property, and they want to get paid for, and it's like 1/21st of a piece of property doesn't really have much value. It might if it's, you know, on Park Avenue in New York or Fifth Avenue in New York or something like that, but you know, these are not those types of properties. And so what you're dealing with is, all you're really trying to say is, hey, look, you've got this situation, you've got a property that's behind in taxes, and the county is working towards foreclosing on the property, in which case they'll sell it off in auction and you don't get anything. We'd like to come in, clean up the mess, and essentially just offer each person that owns, you know, 1/4 of the property, you know, and I say somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000, because that's about what the property is worth, you know, in this particular situation. And so people don't really want to own what it is that they've done to create this situation. It's like they don't want to see that all I'm really trying to do is say, hey, look, you get $4,000 to $5,000 if you sign, you get nothing if you don't sign. And right now, I've got half of the property contracted, so I know what happens is, son and daughter think, oh, well, you're not the only investor in town. No, I'm not. That's true. I'm the one that proactively reached out. Nobody was looking to solve this problem for the family other than me. I proactively reached out, got a hold of two of the people. Those people have contracted to sell, so those people can't sell to anybody but me. So if the other half wants to sell, it's like, how do you sell a half a house? There's not really a market for a half a house. There is a market for a whole house. In other words, I talk to this all the time. Somebody has a half a house. They've inherited one half of a house. It's like, hey, have you ever tried to buy a half a house? There's no market out there for half a houses. There's a market for a whole house, but a half a house is not worth half of what a whole house costs.
2 minutes.
But in this situation, if everybody agrees and it works quickly, because the value of the house for me is how quickly can I move the sausage through the pipeline. And so for those of y'all that get it, y'all understand how this process works. Not everybody gets it. I get it. I understand that not everybody understands the way real estate works. But when you have a half a house, when you own a half a house, it's not worth, or even worse, when you own a quarter of a house. If you own a quarter of a house, it's it's not worth. Let's say the house is worth $100,000. It doesn't mean your quarter is worth $25,000. Your quarter is worth. It's really only worth what a buyer and a seller are willing to pay, and there's no buyers for it. There's no. You see houses listed on MLS all the time for the entire house. Do you ever see a house listed on MLS that say, "I have an undivided 1/4 interest in a property"? No, you never see that, because there's really no market for that out in the marketplace. So we do this radio show because we're actually out there doing real estate on a daily basis. I'm out there helping people solve their problems. Not everybody wants their problem solved. I get that. Especially when children get involved, and it creates issues. It really, really creates issues, and it doesn't have to be that way. Really well, we're talking about assets. And then when you're talking about people, then, in fact, this is one of my favorite sayings in all of real estate. It's the real estate that's really, really simple. It's the people that make it challenging. So all I want to say is you've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. This has been a slightly different show. I've not included any of the names to protect the guilty, if you will. And if you want to listen to our webinar that we're going to have today about how to make money in real estate compared to 401ks, we're going to do a live webinar. Go to rightpathrealestate.com. That's rightpathrealestate.com. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I know I've enjoyed providing the value. See you tomorrow. Daniel will be back in the house. Have a safe trip today, brother. We love you. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio.
Perfect.
Find Tom at rightpathrealestate.com. You can put the fear behind you and listen every day from 9 to 10 a.m. on Business 1110 KTEK.
This is a special alert for Americans who owe more than $10,000 in back taxes. Get ready for a toll-free hotline number. Call and get free